There are many teleprompter remotes in the market. Which ones are worth your cash and which ones go straight into the trash? We're answering this question and more in this video. I've bought some of the most compelling teleprompter remotes, so you don't have to. If you find yourself anything useful, all of the products featured in this video are going to be in the description. And by purchasing through my links, you are supporting my channel with no extra cost to you. Now let's check some remotes. Most of the teleprompters that you can find online already come with some sort of a remote. So why even buy one? Well, the first reason is that they usually only work with their own app, which most of the time are complete dog shit. Talking about the apps, there's another video where I test a lot of these teleprompter apps, so make sure to check it out after watching this video. The second reason is that included remotes, just like their apps, are usually just as shitty. Which brings us to our first remote of the video, the generic teleprompter remote. These remotes come included with many of the teleprompters on the market. Just by scrolling through Amazon, I've seen pictures of this same remote in the listings from Ambitful, Desview, GVM, FeelWorld, and probably many others. This one in particular came in a set with Ilokinzi teleprompter that I reviewed a couple of years ago. By the way, check out that video and see how much I improved during that time. Now, this remote right here came in a set with Pronstur teleprompter. These twins look nearly identical. I'm pretty sure they're both made in the same factory somewhere in China. But just as with human twins, even though they look the same, deep down inside they are quite different. And what I mean by that is that they are running different firmware. They both report different names on Bluetooth list and they are both bound to different keys. One remote works just fine with the app and another works differently with the same app. I'm pretty sure same remotes from other brands will work even differently. Case in point, Ilokinzi remote works perfectly within its own app, but absolutely refuses to work in Teleprompter Pro, while Pronstur remote scrolls fine when set to game mode, but the trigger opens video recording. If switched to key mode, the trigger works as intended, but you lose the scrolling ability. Now, this switch right here makes me suspicious that these are actually just repurposed game controllers. Let's check it. And would you look at that? I was right! The controller is a Mocute 052 and can be bought on AliExpress for €5. Apparently, the firmware of those can be upgraded and the buttons can be rebound, so maybe you can fix those to work properly with other teleprompter apps? But I digress, this video is not about that. So if we remove the software from the equation, how bad is Mocute 052? It's meh. It grips quite good in the hand, but feels a bit hollow, weighing in at 65 grams with batteries. As the teleprompter remote, it's a little bit too big and difficult to conceal, but this may or may not be a problem for you. The bad part is that it rattles, and that's not something that you want when working close to microphones. The trigger is clicky, which is also not something that you want on a teleprompter remote, and both of the remotes that I have suffer from ghost double clicks, which is frankly just annoying. The joystick, as an input method, is also very questionable as it is easy to mess up the direction and none of the apps support gradual scrolling. Buttons are mushy membrane buttons and may or may not be used for text scrolling depending on the app. And why the hell are they sideways? Am I supposed to hold the controller like this? The controller takes two AAA batteries and I'm glad to report that it works with rechargeables. Now with all that said, do I recommend these for your teleprompting needs? Well, no. Not if you're buying it. But since it comes in a set and could probably be reset back to its game controller state, I'd say Check it in your junk drawer just in case. Jesus Christ, that was a long tangent. Technology Connections would be proud. I never thought I could say so many things about these controllers. Now, speaking about crappy controllers that come in a set, SmallRig! What the hell is this crap? I tell you what it is, the closest thing I could find was a page flipper. Now it makes sense why it does the sweeping motion when connected to the iPad. The remote came with an otherwise superb teleprompter that I really love. But this controller goes straight into the trash. Now let's move on to controllers that you can buy separately. Neewer! Now that's a brand that's known in the photography world. Surely they will offer something decent, as you can tell by my sarcastic voice. Which they don't. The remote itself is quite okay. A little bit too big for teleprompting, but again, that's probably just a matter of taste. The plastic is mid, a little bit better than Mocute, but feels almost just as hollow and weighs almost the same 64 grams with batteries. Works with rechargeables, by the way. The controls are nicely reachable and the buttons are tactile and clicky, but not too loud. They actually feel quite good. But why the hell would you include a text size button and not the speed button? Have you ever used a teleprompter? Speed is the most used control after start, stop, and scroll. Well, of course you can change the speed when it's playing, but that's besides the point. And this thing right here, this is not a screen. It's just a decorative element that shines an obnoxious blue on a set where you're supposed to have controlled lighting. Well, I guess you can slap some gaff tape on it, I guess. Overall, it wouldn't be too bad of a remote if it worked with any other apps. And their app, oh my god, don't get me started on their app. Actually, just go and watch the video where I review it and many other teleprompter apps. But only after you finish watching this video. Well, that's 36 of my euros that I'm never getting back. This goes straight into the trash. Now, how about something that has teleprompter in its name? Now, this ought to be good. Let me get my pad out first. Get it? It's a teleprompter pad. Okay, bad joke, jeez. A device made exclusively for teleprompting. But why the hell does it look like another repurposed game controller? Actually, surprisingly, it is not. I've looked up the FCC ID that I found under the cover, and it turns out that the registration address on the FCC listing and the address on Teleprompter Pad's website match. It looks like this remote was actually exclusively designed by Teleprompter Pad. Or, more likely, the white label design was purchased from some Chinese factory, but then the device was certified under Teleprompter Pad's name. But you ain't here for the lore, now aren't you? Is this a good remote? It's mid. Unfortunately, it only works with its own app and not in Teleprompter Pro. The joystick is used to control speed and font size, but the way it's supposed to be held makes it very susceptible to accidentally bumping that joystick. And forget about putting this in your pocket, because joystick! The battery cover is very difficult to take off, even though you probably won't be doing that too often, but I'm pretty sure these clips will break at some point. Oh, and it does support rechargeable batteries, very nice. The buttons remind me of those old Tetris handhelds from the 90s. What I'm saying is that they are okay. What else can you expect from membrane buttons? Now, I get that the designers wanted to cram as many features as possible here, But honestly, do you really need all of them on a remote? When was the last time you wanted to adjust margins from a remote? Most of those functions you just set once and forget. And you definitely don't want to change them accidentally mid-roll. So my main takeaway is that the Teleprompter Pad remote is just too complex, at least for my use case. I'm here to judge the remotes and not your choices. If you like some remote that I don't, that's totally fine. Leave an angry comment down below. At 63 grams and 30 euros, do I recommend the Teleprompter Pad remote? No, since I find their app quite horrible and it doesn't work with other apps. But you know what works with Teleprompter Pro? Satechi R2. Now that's the product I can get behind. With aluminum body, tactile buttons, weighing in at 62 grams, it is the most premium remote of them all. This is actually one of the remotes recommended by Teleprompter Pro app. Clicky buttons and big size don't make it the perfect teleprompter remote, but it's damn close to it. Especially as for 50 of your euros, you not only get a teleprompter remote, but you also get a media controller to control your tunes while you're relaxing, and a presentation remote for when you're flexing. Since this is a presentation remote, you don't even have to use a teleprompter app. You can just chuck your text into PowerPoint and use that. The remote comes in with built-in battery that can be charged through USB-C, and which has already been lasting me for over 6 months on a single charge. If you want value for your money, this is the remote to get using my link in the description because you really like this video and you really want me to get those 50 cents of Amazon affiliate money. Actually, this remote is so good that it warrants its own separate video, which you ain't gonna miss if you subscribe. But before I reveal the best teleprompter remote, here are some honorable mentions of how you can control your teleprompter. Game controllers. They will work in a pinch if that is something that you already have on hand, but it's not something that I would recommend to get exclusively for teleprompting due to their size and price. Did you know that you can use your iPhone to control Teleprompter Pro app? That could also work if that's the look that you're going for, or if you're in a studio where someone else is controlling the text. Now, talking about the studio setting, if you have an Elgato prompter, you're going to need a computer to control it. Great if you're streaming, horrible if you're filming outside. Another way to control your teleprompter is with the app that detects your voice and follows along. But this video is about remotes, and remotes I'm gonna give ya. But before revealing the best remote, like this video if you haven't already, subscribe if you haven't already, and without further ado, the best of the remotes is... Desview. It is compact, but not too small. You can hide it in your palm, especially if you got larger hands than me. The buttons are mushy but silent, with the exception of the trigger, but you don't even need to use it because the center button serves the same purpose. Although it comes with its own app, as always, it also works perfectly with Teleprompter Pro, as this is a presentation remote. I've mentioned this app so many times, I swear I'm not sponsored by them, but I did register for their affiliate link, so if you decide to start using it, don't forget to use the link from your boy. The remote weighs in at 48 grams with batteries, takes rechargeables, doesn't rattle, doesn't have a joystick so you can easily throw it in your pocket, and it costs those standard 30 euros as many competing controllers do. All of these makes it the perfect teleprompter remote.